Good morning, children. Welcome back to the science class. Today, we are going to start a new lesson. First, I'll show a few images. Then, I'll ask a few questions related to those images. From that, you can find the title of the lesson. Are you ready to see the images? Let us see. Are you ready to say the answers? First one. How do plants grow? Plants grow in the soil. Soil is the most important thing for the plants to grow. Second one. How do we get food? We get food from the plants. Third one. How do we get clothes? We get clothes from the cotton plant. These plants are also grow in the soil. What is he doing? He is making a pot. So, he is known as a potter. What do we need to make a pot? We need soil to make a pot. What does this man do? He builds a building. He too needs soil to build a building. Then, where does this animal live? This animal lives in the burrow. So, what do you understand from all these? From these, we understand the soil is the most important thing in our life. Now, you can say the title of the lesson. Yes, soil. We are going to study about the soil. We are going to start lesson 9, soil. What is soil? Soil is the thin upper layer of material on the surface of the earth in which plants take root and grow. What is soil? Soil is the thin upper layer of material on the surface of the earth. Soil is made up of many things like weathered rocks, decayed plants and animal matter. Soil is formed over a long period of time. It contains nutrients and water necessary for plants to grow and make food for themselves and the entire animal world. Many kinds of animals also live in the soil. So, the soil is the shelter for many kinds of animals. Humans depend on the soil for food, clothing and shelter. These three things are the basic needs of humans. So, humans depend on the soil for their basic need. Formation of soil. The breaking up of rocks into smaller pieces is called the formation of soil. Soil formed by weathering. What is weathering? The breaking up of rocks into smaller pieces over thousands of years is called weathering. Weathering are classified as physical weathering, biological weathering and also the chemical weathering. First one is physical weathering. The kind of weathering where the nature of the soil is not changed is called physical weathering. In this kind of weathering, the nature of the soil is not changed. This can be carried out by many agents of weathering. What are the agents of this weathering? Water, wind, temperature. These three things are the agents of physical weathering. First one, water. When water flows down mountain slopes, it carries loose rocks. With it, the moving rocks hit other rocks on the way. The fine particle that chip away from the rocks. Chip means to break away from the rocks. The fine particle to break away from the rocks. Then it gets deposited on the river beds as soil. In the winter in cold region, the water entered into the small cracks of the rocks. Then it will freezes. Because of this, the cracks of the rocks become wider. Then, in warmer weather, the ice melts. This process takes place repeatedly over time. And eventually, the rocks break into smaller pieces. Next one, wind. In the same way, when winds blow at high speeds on the mountains, loose rocks slide down the slopes. They hit other rocks and break into smaller pieces. The small pieces and sand that is blown by the wind chip away at rocks, forming fine particles. The wind carries these fine particles and deposits them as soil. Third one is temperature. During the warm day, the surface of the rock expands more than the layers within it. Similarly, during the cool night, the surface contracts more than the layers within. Because of the warm weather, the surface of the rocks expand more than the layers within. Similarly, during the cool night, the surface of the rocks contract more than the layers within. This causes the rock to weaken and develop cracks. Then eventually the rocks break into smaller pieces. Yes, the soil is formed by water. The soil is formed by wind, and also the soil is formed by temperature in this physical weathering. Second one is biological weathering. In this kind of weathering, living organisms are the cause for the weathering. What are the living organisms? Plants and animals. The roots of the growing plant can break the rock into smaller pieces. Burrowing animals also break up rock as they dig. Third one, chemical weathering. In chemical weathering, chemical reactions between substances in the rock and the air or water result in the breaking up of rocks to form soil. These are all the three types of weathering. Let us revise the topic again. What is soil? Soil is the thin upper layer of material on the surface of the earth in which plants take root and grow. What are the classification of weathering? Physical weathering, biological weathering, and also the chemical weathering. What are the agents of physical weathering? First one, water, wind, and also temperature. Thank you.